Oh, well, all right, y'all. How's it going? This is another episode of the Q&A Sunday. I'm filming it as I'm fishing because tomorrow's Sunday. First off, I want to go over a few things. Fishing has been absolutely terrible. This is day two, and I've just gotten a couple of just itty bitty bites. I haven't caught any fish. We've covered a bunch of water. Still not giving up. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to post a bunch of no fish videos. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to start a trend like that. But you guys let me know. I mean, I go through a pretty good progression throughout the day, and it's just tough. It really is tough when these conditions like this. Because we had shad kill. We had a bunch of snow and stuff come down. It's starting to melt now, but it's been pretty tough. It's been a lot tougher than I thought it'd be. I thought for sure we'd catch a few fish. Not many, wouldn't have fire days, not like that, but it's been tough. So we're sitting out here. I've probably moved to 20 different spots already. Fished on some structure. We're sitting on deep structure and stuff. And it's been tough. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to keep fishing, obviously, but I don't know if I want to keep posting no fish videos. But anyway, this ain't what this one's about. This one I want to go because I did have some good questions, and a couple of them were boat related. So I wanted to kind of go over them while we're on the boat. So the first one was, it's a deep water question. So when I'm spot locked, I notice I dropped the power poles in the back. Do they help with swaying? Well, yes, it does. And what I'll do is prime examples. I'll show you guys real quick exactly what it does. So we'll come through here, and you can see the poles, how they're working now. You see I got the paddles, they're in line with the pole now, but I could take them paddles and I can actually take them from that and just angle them out. There's different settings where I could flop, where they're actually straight down like a big paddle, and they actually help. They help quite a bit. They help when you're dragging, especially anchored like this. The only thing I got them like that now is you can see the current is rolling off the sides of them here. And so we have a northeast wind. So when that northeast wind kind of blows upriver, it wants to blow the back of the boat this way. Well, that paddle will catch it and push us back. Just like that one over there will catch it and push us back straight in line. So they're working against each other to keep it straight. So that was a good question. So yes, they are worth it. I mean, put you guys back down. For a lot of years, I talked to a lot of people. Well, I say a lot of years, but when I started to come up with this boat and what I wanted out of it and everything I thought I needed, I talked to a few people that had them paddles on their power poles, and they absolutely loved them. And I actually use them way more than I ever thought I would. I really do. Because it's nice when you pull up to the bank. Some days we have to nose up to the bank, then I can just drop the power poles and use them as traditional power poles. But when I'm fishing like this and we have a wind that's not conducive, they work a heck of a lot better. So the thing about a drift sock works great. It actually works really well. The only thing about a drift sock is where you've got the sock and where you've got it attached to the boat. Well, right there where it's attached to the boat, there's a pivot point, right? So the boat can still spin. It'll eventually pull you back. You know what I mean? And a drift sock's designed for exactly what it's called for, if you need to put tension, one way or the other, slow you down, so to speak, where these paddles, they do the exact same thing, but I can also use them to help essentially steer the back of the boat. So that's a pretty good question. The reason why I got them is because of that. And like I said, I use them way more than I ever thought I would. So that was kind of a big deal. One of the bigger deals I wanted to get on this boat when I was putting it together. So that was definitely one of the questions. Had several good questions. Like here's another one. What causes the shad kill? Which is a very relevant question. What the shad kill is caused when the water temperature drops. Like typically when it drops faster, then the fish can react to it. So, and of course, once it gets to a certain point, like the water temp gets to a certain point, like our water temps. Well, we started off this morning at 41. We're 42 right now, but So them little bitty, 1, 2 to 3 inch, 4-inch threadfin shad and gizzard shad, they go into shock, which essentially just, kills a lot of them, but it makes even more of them just so lethargic they can't swim away. So what they do is they can't swim, they really can't do much. So all they do is they just kind of float down to the bottom, and that's where they stay. And it makes easy pickings for fishing, or for fish, just easy, super easy pickings. That's why the bite has just been so awful, and I don't really know how long it's been going on. Cause like I said, I've been off the water for almost 2 weeks, except for the other day. But it just makes it tough. Like I said, and if you've watched any of my other actual fishing videos, where I've scanned just bazillions of little thread fins and little gizzards, just a bunch of just bait out here. When all that happens at one time, like I said, these fish they don't have to work hard to get their food. Let's see. I know we got some more on here. I'm getting to them. I'm trying to go off of last week's video. So this guy asking about throw nets. I mean, really, I use Phytech nets. I like them. I think they're just as good of a build in a net as pretty much anything out there. I mean, I don't really think they do anything like special, because I still lose nets, I still tear nets, so it's still part of the game. When you throw it on a log or root wad or brush pile, whatever you do, I mean, you're still going to tear nets. I mean, they're all still made out of monofilament, and I think there's even some other ones that are made out of some sort of like thread material, but I don't know how those are. I've never had one of those. So we're gonna kind of basically just leave it there, because like I said, there's nothing special they do, I don't believe. I just, they're out of Memphis, Tennessee, so I like using them. They're kind of local to me, and if all goes well, we'll be working together at some point, but we'll see. Okay, so yeah, get more questions about the shad kill. It's just tough. I want to tell you that it's really tough. We're gonna eventually come across fish, and it may not be, it may not be like, well, it'll be a time thing, right? So the more time we have after the shad kill, like next week it's supposed to start warming up, so it's going to bring these water temps up. I don't know what that's going to do. I really hope it gets these fish moving again, because they're also in shock too with these colder water temps, because like I said in the previous video, when the weather got the way it was, real cold, had a bunch of snow and ice hit this river, like the temperature shot way down real fast. And of course, everything out east, it happened the same way. Of course, that water flows west. Well, technically north on my part of the river, but anyway, it comes from east to west. So I don't know. I mean, fish around it, I guess just have an open mind, I guess, about the best I could tell you. Just have an open mind and don't get discouraged, because it is what it is. I go through it every year. The only thing is most years when I know it happens, I don't fish for 4, 5, 6 days. I do other things, which, that may be something we do too. And then, I kind of like, I'll go catfishing one day and like, oh, okay, cool, I caught a few. Then I know that, the results of a shad kill are starting to wind up. But we are kind of, I think, dead in the middle of it, or right at the beginning of it, which kind of sucks, because it's usually about 2 weeks, roughly, that we're going to have to deal with this. So I don't know, but we're going to go through some of these other ones. I want to see like how I, because I launch the boat by myself all the time. It's pretty simple deal. When I, of course I unbuckle it just like anybody would. I back it down to the bottom of the ramp. I got a rope on the front. It's a 25-foot rope, because my trailer's roughly my trailer's roughly 22 feet long, so I got a 25-foot rope, so I just let it kind of, you know, I back it in until the boat starts floating, then I just slowly pull it back up. And once that rope gets tight, it kind of leaves it in the back of the trailer, and then I can get it. It's pretty simple. I mean, I can do a video on it, you know, if you really want to see that. It's real simple. You know, one boat ramp I have to do it because the only reason why I do it, because I could drive it off the trailer. The only reason why I don't do it, because it's, you know, it's cold in the morning, and I really get it because the way the angle of that boat ramp is, I have to drive in a pretty good ways, and I can't step into the boat because basically the back tires of my truck are in the water. Of course, I got that truck bed cover, and it just makes it harder to, you know, try to climb on everything to get in there. So I just do it this way, or do it that way. But I'm saying, like, because the engine's cold, engine oil is cold. You first start it up in the morning. I mean, ideally when it's this cold, I like letting an engine idle for like 5 to 10 minutes before I really start going anywhere. Let everything kind of warm up, because it's hard on them engines when you try to push cold oil. And so to drive it off the trailer or back it off the trailer at that particular boat ramp, I really got to rev it up, and I don't want to do that first thing in the morning. So that's why I implement the little rope deal. Other boat ramps that are a little bit steeper, I just get it to where the back starts floating, and then I can just unbuckle it. Then I can, little bit of throttle, and it pulls off the trailer, so it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, that's pretty much it on that particular deal. I mean, if you really want to see a video of me doing it, I definitely can film it, but it's not as glamorous as you think it'd be. But we are going to, I know I have some more questions in here. I had quite a few. I get a lot of good comments about how you guys like my content. I absolutely appreciate that. I really do. I mean, I just do what I do, you know, and if it helps y'all out there, then awesome. Of course, like I said, the last 2 days I ain't done nothing to help me out. So hopefully that changes. I know it will, but I do appreciate y'all's kind comments for sure. Oh yes, okay. So here's another one. A guy commented about how in my shop I've got a bunch of different landing nets hanging up on the wall. Well, I'm kind of when it comes to anything, I'm a tackle nerd, right? So I play around with, or I mess with different things, you know, and more so with the landing nets. I've been trying to really find one that really fits, and you know, like being completely honest, the one that I really liked was that Mad Cat's net with the orange netting. Just for the simple fact it was the perfect hoop width. You know, it was perfect all around. The net was just perfect. You know, the right depth, everything like that, and I just loved it. Well, I kind of tore the net. You know, I mean, I've used it quite a bit, so I had a couple holes in the net. So I got a replacement net. Well, they come out with a new net, or new netting. It's like, I don't know, it's deep for no reason, you know what I mean? And I'm not a tall guy, and first time I use it, I tried to pull a fish up over the side of the boat, and I always like just grabbing the loop, or the hoop, and then pulling it up. And well, then the fish was still in the water because the net was just way too deep. You know, nothing. I mean, they probably had a lot of people ask for that, and they accommodated. It's just not for me. So here recently, I went with well, I've always had a HD 150 from the Monster Rod Holders, the Hydro Web nets. I've always had a 150. That was the first bigger net that I've ever bought. And of course, I put 2 state records in it, so I kind of retired that one. That one's going to stay on the wall. But they do make a HD 80, which I run. And again, that's another net it's for me, my personal opinion, it's the perfect size. So it's the netting is not too deep. It'll hold a 100+ pound fish. I know it will, but I've put several, you know, 50s, 60s, and 70s in it, no problem. So, but that's kind of the reason why. That, and I've had other companies send me things to try out. Some of them are good, some of them ain't. You know, some of them are more complicated than they need to be, and some of them are just not the right size. You know what I mean? Nothing. But it's just my personal preference. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like, you know, I'm the net guru. You got to have said net or whatever. They make nets. You know, there's nets out there for every person and every personality and every and every style how you fish. So, but that's it. So that's the answer to that question. So there was a question here, and I actually read this one. I didn't. I guess it's a thing. I don't know, but I got asked if I trailer when I got my boat in the trailer. Do I leave my prop or the engine in gear? I don't know what the significance is, because that was a question that I wanted to bring up and ask you guys about. Is that an issue? I don't know if it. I've never heard of it being an issue. Maybe if you drive like forever, like if you're taking a 6 to 10 hour trip or something on the highway, I could see where that prop could catch air and slowly spin the whole way there. But I don't know if that's an issue. If any of y'all have anything to add to that, please let me know. I mean, I know I should know, but I don't know if that's actually an issue. I really don't. So if you guys know anything about that or have heard or had boat mechanics tell you one way or the other, please drop that in the comments because I'd like to know myself because I really don't know. That was a good question though, but I didn't really. I don't really think of that. I know I've traveled this boat well, we're going on a few thousand miles now, and I've just never had it being an issue, and I've never really heard anybody say anything about it. So, again, leave that in the comments if you guys know about that. Let's see. I don't. Okay, well, that's all the ones that I kind of really wanted to cover, I think. But anyway, so I wanted to also kind of go over, because I know when this video is going to come out, I wanted to say that I will be at the Twisted Cat Outdoors Expo. I'll be out there. Got G3 Boats is going to be out there, so you'll find me around there. But there's like a really good handful of other booths and that I'll be hanging around, and then you'll obviously see me walking around if you show up or if you come out there. But the biggest thing I wanted to talk about, especially at the end of this video, is I have my own thoughts and opinions about how I would like to see the sport of catfishing go, which, and a lot of people, we kind of share the same views when it comes to that, but we got to get there. That's the thing. We got to get there, and shows like this, like the shows that Steve Douglas does, and some other shows, that are excuse me, that are more into the catfish oriented like show, right? So you think back 20-25 years ago, I mean, there wasn't much on the markets for catfishing. I mean, there was a few companies that had a little bit of stuff for catfishing, and but to see it now, man, it's like it's unreal to see what's out there now and the companies that are involved in this sport and things like that. So it's kind of neat. We're getting there, but we got to start somewhere, and I think we're with these shows and a lot more people getting into the sport of catfishing. It has really boosted the thrill or the enjoyment of the sport as opposed to any other fish. But like I said about these shows, I try to attend as many as I can, just for the simple fact I want to show support and be able to be a part of it, because the more we can get people involved into a passion that we all love, the better it's going to be in the future. Because I look at it this way. My kids, except for my youngest boy, they're all grown up, moved out of the house. A lot of them didn't really pick up. I mean, I took them fishing all the time when they were younger, but, they moved on to other things and got their own hobbies and stuff like that. So, that's fine. But, like, I want to preserve this sport, say, for y'all's kids or, or whatever, your grandkids, whatever that is. And these shows that go on, are a huge part of that, because it just exposes so many people that otherwise would not have heard or even cared about catfish, you know what I mean? So kind of really don't know, I really don't care who's putting the show on, If it's more focused on being able to show off the sport, you know, the things that are out there, the companies that are involved, those that, you know, the conservation effort, you know, all the things that go into going over all that stuff and ensuring that we still have a, you know, we have a future for these catfish. I'm all about it. I really am. I'm all about it. I know that, you know, like on Facebook, there's just so much, you know, people talk about, and I don't ever get into them conversations because it's, you know, it's whatever, you know, like I said, everybody has their own thoughts and opinions on this. But I think the more we can expose or bring exposure to this sport, I think the better off we will be for it. I know that some people say that if it gets too big, then it's going to be another like bass fishing or crappie fishing or something like that. It's just going to get out of hand. Well, yeah, because you know, the popularity of sport does carry a double-edged sword for sure. You know, you're going to have more pressure, you're going to have more people doing it, you're going to have all this stuff. But where catfish on the back end have a, you know, they really don't have a huge leg up as opposed to say bass or crappie or, you know, any other sport fish out there, is that they are allowed to be commercial fish. They are allowed to be taken, you know, multiple different ways, you know, things like that. So they really don't kind of have a, I mean, at the current path, they don't really stand a chance in the long run. So that's kind of, you know, what brings me back to my point about these shows and stuff like that, that people get more exposed to the sport. And I want to say a good way to do the sport is kind of like what we do, you know. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I've never ran a trot line or I've never dug jug lines or limb lines, because I sure did. I did when I was younger. Heck yeah, that was, you know, that's how we grew up catching them. But as I learned, you know, and as I focused my attention more so on learning how to catch these fish and learn how to catch bigger fish, I knew the time. I mean, you know, it's no different than, you know, a top bass fisherman or a top crappie fisherman. Man, there's so much goes into it, and you develop a passion for these fish, and I think a lot of us do, really. But you develop a passion for these fish, and that's kind of what drives me to do what I do. You know, I do my best to take care of them, stuff like that. Yeah, we're still putting a hook in our mouth, you know, to make videos and stuff like that. But it's still just a passion that you gain for these fish, and kind of a definitely, especially the last 2 days, a love-hate relationship. But you get a passion for it. Once you get a passion for something like that, or anything really, you know, that just kind of drives you to keep going and do better and get better at it. You know, it kind of hurts your feelings a little bit when somebody tries to take that away. So again, with these shows, with these, you know, expos and, you know, these whatevers, those are all good avenues to get people, one, involved or aware of the sport and just how actually refined we'll say that it's getting. It's not there yet, but it's getting there. And I think more and more this happens, the more and more focus will be on these fish, and hopefully in the long run, the more and more conservation efforts will be put out there. So that's kind of my 2 cents on that. You know, like I said, everybody's got their own thoughts and opinions on that. That's just mine. But yeah, we're gonna continue to plug away. Like I said, I don't know. You guys let me know what you think, because this is probably going to be another no fish day. I've got a few more spots I'm going to check before I call it a day. But we've covered a lot of water today with not much to talk about. So, but again, like I said, especially that one question, if you got anything on it, anything extra about leaving the prop in gear, I don't know. Let me know what you have heard or you know for a fact. Because I'd like to know, because I travel quite a bit, and and if it's damaging my engine, I would sure like to not do that. So let me know about that. And then again, if you have any more questions, comments, anything like that, leave them in the comments, and we will see what happens. Like I said, I think we're still going to be stuck in this real tough fishing phase for a good handful of days, just based off of what I see on the graph when I'm scanning around. But so yeah, like I said, that's it. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys, you know, coming on here to watch these Q&A Sunday videos, because it's just kind of a good way for us to kind of, I don't know, sit face to face, I guess, in a way, and but really, really like the interaction we get in the comment section. So, but anyway, I guess with all that being said, I appreciate you watching this one, and I'll catch you in the next one.